Alright people, today we're going to talk about a lot of the recent leaks surrounding Tears of the Kingdom. Someone is streaming the game right now. I just watched like 30 minutes to an hour of gameplay on Trovo Live, but their account got suspended. So they were starting from the opening of the game, and they got about, I want to say, halfway through the Great Sky Island in terms of the story stuff. So I wanted to tell you what I saw in terms of story stuff, in terms of mechanics, and just kind of go over it with you all because, well, my video this morning is doing really well, so I appreciate the support on that. I know people are really interested to see more leaks for this game. And because there was a lot of crazy stuff in these leaks, in this gameplay, in the opening of this game. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, I cannot show this stuff because video to get taken down. Honestly, even just talking about it, I think I'm putting my channel at risk. So subscribe for that, you know, shout out. So yeah, I can't show anything. I'm not going to link anything. So I will only be relaying the details of what I saw from this stream. So first up, the game starts off, and once again, spoiler warning, final spoiler warning. Just get off. Click off this video. This is your final warning. So the game starts off with Zelda and Link in the underneath Hyrule Castle, like we saw in the 2019 trailer, looking for Ganondorf, or specifically Zelda's looking for something that has been making a bunch of people fall ill. They didn't know it's Ganondorf. They weren't specifically seeking him out. And in doing so, they see a bunch of Zonai architecture and ruins and stuff underneath Hyrule Castle, and listen, I'm not a Zelda lore expert, you know, or anything. I'm not analyzing the timeline quite to the extent that some people do. So some of this might go a little bit over my head in terms of where this makes this game take place in the timeline and all that. But there's some crazy lore stuff that happens. So we see the murals from, you know, all the promotion for this game of, you know, the Zonai creature that we've seen and what we presume is Hylia and, you know, Ganondorf and all that. Zelda is looking at them and talking about them. She's actually taking pictures of them with her her Pura pad, I believe it's called, or I guess she has a Sheikah Slate, I'm not sure. But she straight up refers to it as the imprisoning war from A Link to the Past. Like, she says that by name. She specifically says this is the events of the imprisoning war thousands of years ago, which is huge. She also confirms that Hyrule was created by a union of a Hyrule or a Hylian and a Zonai creature, and in the mural it's like 2 tiers above them, so I don't know if they got married and then, you know, they worked together to create this. Obviously, safe to assume that's the Zonai whose name is Rauru, which we'll get to, and Hylia, right? So we'll have to wait and see if they're actually, you know, mangling, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, they created Hyrule. So yeah, that was when I heard Zelda say imprisoning war, I was like, okay. They're going crazy with the plot in this, but it doesn't slow down there. And I have to say, this at this point I was like, okay, this is the coolest opening to any Zelda game, and it only gets cooler. So eventually they keep going further down into the cave, and it's cool because at this point Link has, you know, 30 hearts and full stamina from Breath of the Wild, but they find Ganondorf, and he actually ends up sucking all of his power away. So what happens is, you know, they find his corpse, his dehydrated corpse that we've seen, and something falls over. I think it's the teardrop, right? He has a tear, and Zelda picks up the tear that falls, and it activates something within Ganondorf and in the you know, Hyrule Castle depths, and stuff starts rumbling. And, you know, obviously I don't have the footage anymore, so I'm kind of, you know, trying to remember exactly what happened. But basically, some of that malice or whatever it is kind of sucks the Master Sword up, but the tip of it actually breaks off and nicks Ganondorf on the face, and he starts bleeding, and that's what actually revives him. It actually, like, starts, like, pussing up, and then he starts talking. He turns over, does, like, the really creepy, like, sit up, you know, like, all horror movie-esque. It's so cool. He sits up, and that revives him. The Master Sword hitting him actually revives him, and then we get some voice lines from Ganondorf, kind of. It's so cool, because he's like, oh, I know you, it's Link and Zelda, and Zelda's like, how do you know who we are? And then, of course, Ganondorf's like, Rauru really put his faith in you, Link, or something like that, you know? And at this point, you know, the malice starts going crazy, everything's going crazy. Zelda gets, you know, that scene of her falling, that infamous shot that we've seen so much. She falls down even deeper. Link tries to save her, but at this point, his arm is getting corrupted. And in this, it's weird, I wasn't expecting this. Ganondorf actually goes deeper underground. So I'm assuming the final boss of this game will probably take place in the deep depths below Hyrule Castle, which is actually really cool. So that's interesting. And then at that point, you know, I guess some time passes, so Link passed out. At this point, his arm's corrupted. He wakes up. He has, like, the tattoos on his body. He wakes up. He has the new Zonai arm, and they do the Forspoken thing, the you know, the companion that's talking to you in this game. it is the arm of the Zonai that we've seen in the trailer. I think is it Matthew Mercer doing the voice, or Yuri Lowenthal? I can't remember who is doing the voice. So you kind of have a companion with you throughout the game, and he's kind of guiding you, which is, we'll see. I don't think, from what I saw, he's not like constantly talking to you or anything, so it's not going to be annoying, but I thought that was interesting. So he's your companion for this game, so to speak, and he's kind of just telling you about who he is. He says his name is Raru, and he says that you have been corrupted by evil or whatever, and you need to go to these shrines and kind of fix yourself up. So you get outside. The opening title screen's really cool. It's similar to Breath of the Wild. So I'm not gonna, say exactly how it's, how the composition is for the cutscene, but it's really cool. And then you kind of just dive around, you're doing some stuff, and then eventually you make your way to the Temple of Time. But the Temple of Time won't let you in because you haven't done the shrines. And at this point, Raru comes up. He's like, hey, you got to do the shrines. You got to get power. You need sufficient power to open it. He says his arm should be powerful enough because it is his arm, but it's, it's gotten weak over time. So he tells you to do the shrines, and he kind of points you in the direction of one. And what's interesting here is that you actually have to do this first one first. In Breath of the Wild, you could do the 4 shrines in any order if you actually wanted. But in this game, so speedrunners might not like this, in this game, you actually have to do this first shrine, the Ukyo Shrine, to get Ultra Hand. Ultra Hand is the first ability you get in this game. And we actually get to see the inside of a shrine with this footage. We saw some of this in the art book. They seem to be pretty, not to, make people disappointed. They seem to be pretty sterile, kind of like shrines in Breath of the Wild. But I'm wondering, because I only got to see 2 of the shrines before the stream went down. Neither of them really had much color. They were all kind of just like sterile, gray, concrete, interiors. Maybe the shrines on the ground will be a little different. Maybe these ones just look sterile because they're the tutorial ones. We'll have to wait and see about that. But he goes through the shrine, and instead of a monk waiting for you at the end, it's actually a statue of the girl, who we presume to be Hylia, right, and Raru. And what you get instead of a spirit orb is a light of blessing. And what's really cool is it actually cleanses Link of evil. So when you get a light of blessing, you see like the malice or the evil coming out of Link's arm, which is just really cool cutscene. And I'm guessing it'll do that for every shrine in this game. But yeah, you get Light of Blessing, so safe to assume it's 4 Light of Blessings per heart or stamina upgrade, which is sick. Then Raru talks to you again. He says there's only 3 Zonai shrines on the island, so he already did one of them. You need to go do the other 2 before you can go to the Temple of Time. So this is interesting because we had seen in the trailers and preview footage, he had the 3 presumably Zonai abilities, because we know we have Ultra Hand, Fuse, and Ascend, I believe, right? But Recall had a different symbol, so I'm guessing you don't get Recall on the Sky Island. Now, I only unfortunately got to see up to the point that this person got Fuse because their account got suspended while they were streaming, and I'm sure someone else will be streaming. More information is going to be coming out. If anything crazy happens in terms of story stuff, I will update this. But yeah, he goes to the second shrine. It's the Inn Issa Shrine. This is where you get Fuse. Some really cool stuff in this shrine, though. He fuses his boulder to his sword, which allows him to break rubble. Normally in Breath of the Wild or something like that, you would need a bomb to break the rubble, but no, just having a boulder on your sword works. And what's interesting is he fights a construct, a new design for a construct we haven't seen before, and the constructs can actually fuse stuff to the ground as well. So they can make their own fuse weapons while you're fighting them in these environments. And it was cool to see the guy mess around, meat arrow and making a fire arrow and all that stuff. So some really cool gameplay implementation there. After doing that second shrine, a worker construct, or the steward construct, gives him the energy cells that we've seen on his hip and all these, all the preview footage and all the promotional art. So this is how you're going to be powering up your flying machines and all that. So you just get that right off the bat. Then, unfortunately, here is where it ended up cutting off, right when it was getting really juicy. He goes to a cave, and he kind of like points you in that direction. He's like, go to that cave, go there. So he goes in the cave. It's called the Pondside Cave, and what's really cool is on the screen it actually pops up. It says, Discovery, Pondside Cave. So as a completionist, I already know getting all the discoveries in this game of new locations is going to be a lot of fun. There's a new enemy in here that we saw in the art book. I believe it was like the bubble frog or something like that. He also finds the archaic tunic in this cave, the one with the green, kind of design on it. But yeah, for killing the bubble frog, I think that's the name of it. I could be completely wrong. He actually gets an item. Once again, I think it was called the bubble gem. And the description was interesting. It said, something about this item entices you to collect more. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like an upgrade material, maybe for armor or something like that. You know, it looked like it had like a separate slot on your collectibles. So this is going to be important. The Bubble Frog really looked like the Spirit of the Forest, right? Or Spirit of the Mountain from Breath of the Wild, you know, that blue styling and all that. When he killed it, it turned into like a small thing and ran away. So really interesting there. And unfortunately, that's where the stream cut off. So that's all the information I have for you right now. But, you know, the game has been dumped at this point. Spoilers and leaks are going to keep coming out. I just wanted to see up to the point that he gets off the Sky Island. That's where I'm cutting it off. So I still want to see some more. I want to see what story stuff happens when you get to that Temple of Time, you know, and see what's really going on there. But I wanted to make this video for you guys so you stay in the loop, you know. Stay vigilant. If you really want to find these leaks and streams, I'm sure you can find them. I haven't seen anyone else streaming it right now when I'm recording this, but that's probably already changed by the time I'm uploading it. So thank you for watching. Of course, subscribe here so you stay up to date on Tears of the Kingdom info, news, and leaks. I'm very excited to cover this game and its launch with you all. And follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. Until next time, folks, peace.